All right, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I want to take a minute and talk about this video right here. It comes from Fox News and it's titled, Newsome's reparations might cost more than Build Back Better. So if you live in California and you're black, you might be getting some reparations coming your way. Who knows? But we about to dig deeper into it right now. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's roll it.
Concerned? But Newsome's kicking it up a notch. He wants to launch the most expensive reparations plan in American history. Over $500 billion. $250,000 for any black person whose ancestor faced housing discrimination. How do you know if you faced housing discrimination? Well, that's determined by Newsome's Reparations Task Force. To be eligible for cash, you have to be the descendant of any black person born in America before 1900. When someone says reparations, you're probably thinking that cash should go to the families of enslaved black Americans. Wrong.
Providing reparations only for those who can prove their descendancy from enslaved Africans is yet another win for white supremacy, as it dismisses and devalues the harms done to African descendants not enslaved.
Okay, so that's a lot.
Okay, so they just want their cake and eat it too. Let me play that back real quick, just in case you didn't catch that.
Can prove their descendancy from enslaved Africans is yet another win for white supremacy, as it dismisses and devalues the harms done to African descendants not enslaved.
So reparations for black people who can prove that they have slavery in their lineage is not good enough. It needs to go to every single black person, even the ones who didn't have any slaves, who didn't have any slaves in their family that they could trace back through ancestry. Wow.
Devalues the harms done to African descendants not enslaved.
Let me just talk real quick about the obvious thing, all right? Newsome is not doing this because he cares about black people. Newsome is a politician, a career politician. He knows what to do to garner votes, especially in California.
Okay, so that's a lot of people. And it's not just money for housing discrimination. Newsome's Reparation Task Force wants to hand out more cash for what they call mass incarceration, unjust property seizures, devaluation of black businesses, and access to health care. It sounds like this is going to end up costing more than Build Back Better, just a wee bit. This isn't just free money, it's a fortune, $250,000 handout per person. Now, I'm willing to listen to people who believe black Americans are owed something from a country that enslaved their ancestors. I'm not sure I agree with it, but I'm willing to listen, and maybe I can be convinced. Africans were kidnapped from their homes, brought to a foreign land, broken in by their masters, and then worked for the rest of their lives as slaves. Atrocities were committed against millions of people. I'm reading a book about slavery right now. It's called American Slavery, and it's considered the preeminent scholarly work about the institution. And I highly recommend every single American read this book. And with the country already deeply divided, how will slavery reparations impact the relationship between black and whites? Do Native Americans get any money? How about Japanese Americans? Their ancestors were put in internment camps.
And that's the problem with this. If this actually goes through, if this is actually a win for, the black community, whatever, if this actually goes through, then you're going to have every single other racial group standing next in line for their handouts. And also what this shows me is that, well, I knew Newsome didn't actually care about, black people, whatever. These politicians just do this for votes. But what this really shows is that in this country, we don't quite see that you can't throw money at people. You can't throw money at a problem. Money will not fix everything. You can give someone money, but if they don't have not only the smarts to know what to do with that money, but if they aren't all right in the head, in the mind, in the spirit, in the soul, money is not going to help. Money will not do anything for them. It's people who are rich right now, but just as degenerate and unholy as ever. So is the money really is the money really saving their soul at the end of the day? And if you don't learn how to fish yourself, you will never eat in abundance. You will never eat for life. If people keep giving you handouts, you can't expect to stand on your own 2 feet, man.
Women were denied equal rights for a long time. Are they going to get a check too? Or are we going to have to pay back Mexico for taking the entire Southwest? Where does it stop? How much will it cost? These are all legitimate questions because once you go down this road, the lawyers come out. And basic math tells you we can't afford slavery reparations.
$5.69 billion. You see that, you guys?
$2,000 stimulus checks supercharged inflation. What do you think checks for $250,000 are going to do?
Man.
And what do you think it's going to do to the debt?
Crazy thing is, in California, this could actually pass. That's why at this point, I'm not saying it will or it won't, because we just gotta watch this and we just gotta watch carefully, because in a state like California, you never know what could happen.
All you need to have is black ancestry dating back to the 1800s. Black millionaires in California are entitled to money. Is LeBron James getting reparations? Not to mention, this is ripe for fraud. You're going to see all types of people coming out of the woodwork, lawyers, hustlers, consultants asking, pay me a $10,000 retainer and I'll make sure your paperwork's right. And I'll go to Ancestry.com and
So he thinks that this will be a good play for him to get votes. And let's just say, let's go to an imaginary world where he actually did do this because he genuinely cares about black people. Just like Jesse Waters said, this opens up the floodgates for people to take advantage of this. Just like with the transgender gift program in San Francisco. I remember when they did PPP loans, and whenever you give away free money, there will be a line of people getting ready and in line to take advantage of that, regardless of if they meet the criteria. And people like that always end up getting a little chunk of it. That's just how it always goes somehow.
I'll go in and apply online, and I guarantee you're going to get your reparation. Remember the PPP loans? That turned out to generate the biggest financial fraud in American history.
Yep.
Anytime the government tries to give out money, it's a disaster, especially in California. Look at San Francisco. They're paying people $1,200 a month for being trans. They call it trans guaranteed income. And just by judging by the application, anybody can get the money. There's 97 different gender options, like Two-Spirit, Maverick, and Gender Outlaw, which I sometimes identify as.
And like he just mentioned, again, that's another law or program being passed or trying to get passed in California. California is like the playground for progressive ideas. That's really what it is.
Can't prove your gender outlaw, though. Don't worry. It's on the honor system. Are these reparations really going to be much different? Seems like a political move by Newsome. Not a lot of black people in California. They just make up 6% of the state's population. But this isn't about California. Gavin's trying to win the black vote across the country. When he throws his hat in the ring for 2024 or later, he wants black voters to think reparations are on the table nationwide.
And the sad thing about it is, you guys, politicians do this to us, to black people, every single time they need votes. They dangle a carrot in front of us, dangle a carrot in front of our face that gets us to vote for them, and the cycle just continues to repeat itself. I can't wait until the day that cycle breaks.
Democrats want South Carolina to be the first state to vote in the presidential primaries. Over 25% of the population there is black. Gavin's looking ahead. He doesn't care that these reparations would bankrupt the country. This is the same guy who brought California from a $100 billion surplus to a $25 billion deficit. This is the same guy that signed off on a $2 million single-stall toilet in San Francisco that takes 4 years to build. This is what Democrats do. They bribe voters before elections and call it relief. It's the main pillar of their party now. COVID stimulus checks, student loan forgiveness, and now reparations. Whatever happens to the economy and race relations, just the price of doing business, as long as it puts Democrats in power.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Yeah, so shout out to Jesse Waters. I mean, right on the money. He couldn't have said it any better. Like I said, this opens up space to be taken advantage of for sure, because if all you have to do is prove that you have ancestry, ancestry who were slaves or affected by slavery, it doesn't matter if you're already rich, if you already have money, if your parents have money, if your family has money. Nothing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is prove it somehow. And just like he said with the PPP loans, man, I've seen people find a way to finesse the system, find a way to get sent that check in the mail. And although a lot of people pay for it in the end, you have to be smart initially before you launch something like this. Me personally, reparations, I don't think black people need reparations. I think black people need to quit complaining, buckle up the bootstraps, and get to work. It is what it is. You know, there are white people, there are Mexican people, there are Asian people. You can name someone from every race who has a parent or who has parents that didn't excel in life or didn't have an abundance of money that they could give him. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're starting behind at the 8 ball. There's black people that are born into money. I know plenty of black people with money. So, yeah, but we're gonna watch this and see how it goes, you guys. But let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out the door. Till next time, you guys, I'm out. Peace.